This is what if deku had heat charge, I'll call it. Heat charge. How would he get this quirk? You might be asking why I have Todoroki up there. Well, normally I would have just said it was like the mixture of how his mother uses her charge, but I thought of something different. What if Deku was Endeavor's son, pretty much? I'll probably make like a different version of this where he actually is like Todoroki. But I'll call it, what if Deku and Todoroki were brothers? And all that. But yeah, so how would this work? So, Endeavor, before he had the idea to have both good quirks, he met Inko, did the stuff, which he would drove Inko to leave. But she would leave after giving birth to her son, Zuko Todoroki. So Zuko would be there. And his quirk would be known as Heat. I know, oh wait, that wouldn't make sense. I'll say he was just like, that happened whenever around Todoroki's birth, behind the back, and he was left there. He is his son. Well, Deku would be the rest of them's half-brother. He would stay there. He would have not a fire quirk or anything like that, but he will have some kind of heat quirk. But when they go to the quirk doctors, they just call it quirk. Body heat. Endeavor would hear this and that's what it can do. And he figures out that he didn't gain a stronger ability control fire. He just had a weaker version of it. Not even fire itself. So Deku would be treated badly in the family, or by Endeavor. And Deku really wouldn't hang around anybody. He would leave through most of the day, even as a kid. I would just sit at a beach the whole time. And this beach was filled with trash. And he took his quirk and he molded pieces of the trash together. And he turned it into a dome. And he has a bed or mattress in there. And he goes there if he ever wants to, get away. And he stays there a lot. Deku would just be like, whatever if my quirks this week, I'll show him. And he would be like, I wish I could just shoot something out. And he would clench his hands, building up heat in his fist. And he's completely immune to his quirk. And he has a body of a fire user, like a fire user. So if he would have like Dobby's quirk, he would be able to withstand it. That's how strong his body is against fire, so he can withstand fire attacks a lot. But he would do this, opening up his hand, and this is whenever a blast would go out. Deku's around 6, I'll say, and this would have shot through the roof. Deku would look at his hands and wonder what this is. If you guys were wondering, his heat abilities are kind of like ki blasts. Since his body's always emanating heat, he won't learn how to survive. Because his quirk is always activated. So he has a natural heat barrier around him, sort of. But yeah, after this, he would practice with this, and he would he would put his thumb over like a little hole in his finger, would build up heat, and would shot a blast through it. So he would just be training with this, and his blasts are really strong. And his heat is strong enough to completely melt metal if he wants to. So he would train for about 4 years. Since he was like 6, he'll be 10 by now. With all this training, he did physical training because Endeavor was strong and All Might was physically strong, even if his quirk doesn't require that much strength. And all that. But he won't have anything specially like fast or anything. But we know he will be fitter in the future. He would go to the Todoroki household earlier, and I'll say they have a changed dojo, which Deku has never stepped foot in. And while everybody else is training with Todoroki, Deku would walk in, and I'll say Endeavor trays on a metal block, and he would stick out his hand, clenching it, opening it up, with what they see is a giant heat ball. He would shoot it. Whenever he shoots it, it would wipe out the whole wall and the metal with it. With Endeavor coming in, seeing this, with all the Todoroki family get shot back, Deku would look at Endeavor and he would smile with a big grin, an evil smile, and he would say, Endeavor, Endeavor, Endeavor. Charging up, he would charge heat in his hands, and you would see his hands start glowing. And he'd be like, what happened? Who did this? Looking, so he never laid down, except Deku. And he would say, of course I did. Charging up a blast. And he would say, you better dodge. Shooting off a blast. With Endeavor trying to dodge, but in this battle, or he would dodge with his hand getting destroyed completely, making him scream, which would destroy more of the household. And that would make people notice that there's a kind of like a fight going on in this area. Here's what we called. And they'd be like, this is the number 2 household. With some villain trying to take him down. But they would walk in, seeing his youngest son, or his half youngest son, or like to the other Todorokis. And Deku's hair is completely red, like Endeavor's, which he hated that. And they would see his youngest son because Todoroki, I think, I'm not sure. Does Todoroki have a little brother? I don't know. But I'll say, but Deku is younger than Todoroki. And they would see Endeavor with his hand missing. And Deku would jump up in the air and would have jumped up and would have swinged his hands with a heat wave hitting people, but whenever it hit them, it would cause their skin to boil and pop open, cooking somebody from inside out, with their bodies getting popped, pretty much. And Deku would jump off using heat to sort of fly, and this heat, unless it's really strong buildup, it's not seeable. So it just looks like he's flying in the air right now. And Deku would blast off, pretty much, with 5 heroes dying, because this was like, he destroyed everything, what I'm talking about, with that blast and all that. So yeah, that's why there's so many heroes. 5 heroes dead. Number 2 hero injured. A couple cops wounded from the leftover heat, with 3rd-degree burns from some kind of like steam and all that. Deku would jump off, and Deku would just kind of land somewhere after a while, staying low. He would put on a jacket, zipped it up. In his hair, he already thought this would give him away. So this is whenever he would have the dye, and he would put it in his hair, making it completely black. So yeah, Deku is a villain in this, because he despises heroes because he thinks they're all like, except, you know, All Might and the rest. They're all fakes. They're all horrible, especially Endeavor. And he would have hatred for heroes, except All Might. For the next 4 years, Deku would be building up a reputation as a villain with strong immense power, with the quirk that you wouldn't expect to be strong. And he would be known as, I don't know what his name would be. What would it be? Just call himself Dobby, but he wanted somebody else was named Dobby, and he had a flame quirk. I don't know. I'll say he calls himself Deku, because people, I'll say, when he picks up fights against heroes, he goes for the actual rude heroes that he knows of and seen. They'd be like, "You want to challenge me, kid? What's your quirk?" He would say heat. He would call his quirk heat charge and be like, "That's a little bit weak. It's not even flames." And he'll say, "With my quirk, I can do anything." And he would charge in and would wipe away them with a splatter of blood from popping open. But yeah. So this is the villain version of this I'm doing first. But after killing all these heroes, Stain would be inspired by Deku. That's what they gave him the name of, because of what his speeches every time if somebody was alive from one of these attacks with like popped open bodies somehow, they would have said that. And Endeavor put all of his money into this to keep it underneath like the rug, where nobody knows that's his son, and that's just helping Deku a lot, where most people don't know if it's him and all that, and if they see him, they'll assume he's like his son because he looks like the pictures of the family and stuff and all that. But yeah, so yeah, he'll just be going around, and Stain would be inspired by Deku. Deku would be physically strong, like Stain, because he doesn't want to be bulky, so he trains agility. And this is whenever he gets offered from 2 organizations, and he already knows Stain. Him and Stain talks a lot, and Stain asks him why do you kill heroes? He would say because all heroes are fake. They always chase after fame. I seen it close hand from Endeavor. my father, if I'm hearing this, and he'd ask more questions. He'll explain the story because my quirk wasn't a fire quirk, and he treated every one of his children bad. Whenever I got strong enough, I left and took his hand with me. That's why he has a special metal that won't melt. You know, it was from the hero license exam. The person that could make those little nuts that can't melt. And the person that can expand it and all that. Yeah, that's what he has for his hands. So I'm back. Okay, that was just be a weird pause though. So he'll be given two offers. One to the Vanguard Action Squad, him and Stain. Stain would be more well known because he's known to see the Heat villain, I don't know, Deku, oh yeah, Deku, and all that. So, we'll make an agreement that if we'll both go to opposite sides, and if we can, we'll bring it together. If one side has more benefits, then we'll go to that side. Deku would choose overhauls, with Stain going to the villain league. At where UA is about to start. Overhaul got him there to find out a way to figure out how to bring him to go to UA to track stuff once he gets into the right grade. And he can track stuff from the other side in the future. While Stain is there because he's well known and it's trying to give them some fame whenever it gets revealed that Stain's in the group. So yeah. Deku would say that I might be found out too quickly. And overall, says I can just use my quirk to rearrange your face with preciseness if I wanted to. He would say just give me a design. Deku would say I need green hair, and he would find his mother, which he knows of, and would see her new husband that was supposed to be main canon's father of Deku. But yeah, he would find that, and he would show some details, and he would create the Deku that we know from canon, but more muscular, and all that. After this, Deku is instructed to go to UA. But that's whenever he gets a call from Stain stating that they have some dude that can transfer quirks. And Deku would go over there behind Overhaul's back. But Overhaul never told him that he can't do that. He can do anything else but not betray him or he'll kill him. But he would go over with him meeting with One for All or All for One. And All for One hearing that his quirk has to be trained a lot, saying the only way I could take him down is that I trained for 4 years. So you have to waste all that time just to be able to take down the number 2 hero. He would say sure, but I shall give you a quirk. And the quirk that Deku's gonna get. Deku preferred something that was dangerous. He says kind of like his own quirk if it's used right. A widespread one. You'd say I can't make it too dangerous, but this should fit you well. Putting his hands on Deku's face, with Deku screaming out loud, and him waking up. And he would feel his face, and Deku didn't turn into a Nomu because he was turned into a perfected Nomu like Kurogiri, but they didn't make him where he obeys his orders or anything like that. So he has his own free will. This gives Deku a quirk that has combined components together. And these components are called, I don't know, I'll probably think of one after this. Goodbye. Hit that screen.